The Tennessee Titans are a mess. They do have some incredible talent, though. Jeffrey Simmons, they traded for L'Jarius Sneed. They signed Tony Pollard, who's fine. They do have some aging talent like DeAndre Hopkins, but man, is the quarterback situation in a rough spot. I mean, Will Levis is single-handedly paying the bills for me on Twitter. The most liked tweet of all time, and I think the second most liked tweet ever, although it's not popping up here. But yeah, Will Levis is like, it's like a comedy show right now. It doesn't even seem real what he's doing. And I'll be honest, at this point, it would be very shocking if he was the quarterback for the Titans in 2025. So we'll see what happens in this rebuild, but we do have some talent to work with. But I think the first step is tearing some of it down. I do want to keep Jeffrey Simmons. I do want to keep L'Jarius Sneed, of course. Chidobe Awuzie could be on his way out. DeAndre Hopkins almost certainly will be on his way out. And then we have a couple of other players that are like fringe. Do I trade them? Do I not? But we're going to hit the reset button so we can hit the rebuild button. Here we go. I would say the absolute biggest problem the Titans have right now, other than quarterback, is right tackle. Nicholas Petit-Frere is not good, and they don't trust Jalen Duncan out there. J.C. Latham, of course, was a really great right tackle prospect that the Titans moved over to left tackle. He struggled a bit in week one, but I think has really bounced back so far in a big way, and he's been one of their best offensive players so far, and he's just 23 years old. So that's a really encouraging thing, because offensive line, even though J.C. Latham is huge, he's what, like 360? So he's listed at 360 on the Alabama website, but I guess he cut a ton of weight. Now he's only 335, super slim. But yeah, he's a big guy. 6'6", 335 is still incredibly huge. And still, there's sometimes a pretty big learning curve and sometimes a strength curve going for, being a 21, 22-year-old tackle playing against college kids versus going into the NFL and you're facing, 28, 30-year-old men that have been doing this for a long time. But Latham, so far, has seemed pretty good. Peter Skoronski, I also like quite a bit for the future. And even Lloyd Cushenberry's okay. Center over to left tackle, I think we're pretty much locked in for the future. Outside of that, have some big questions. I like Chig Okonkwo. Calvin Ridley, I probably want to trade. He's 29 years old. He really just has not been that guy, really, since leaving the Falcons. Did he even have a year with the Jags that was good? I'm not really sure that he did. We can check the numbers here. I mean, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns is actually pretty good. I mean, you'll take that every day of the week. So that's a decent season, but he just hasn't been that same guy post-suspension, I would say, that you'd expect to see after, such an insane 2020. But he was a little bit better, a little bit more productive than I thought last year, but he's going to be on his way out. Treylon Burks, been pretty disappointing. I guess we'll try to develop him a little bit, but your hope was that one day he could eventually be A.J. Brown. He's not that at all. He's kind of in like that mini DK Metcalf mold. He's not that at all. He's just not really that guy, unfortunately for Tennessee. I like Tyjae Spears. Tony Pollard. He's 27 years old. What's his contract? Is he under contract for 3 years? Yeah. He could be a trade candidate next season, maybe. I do want to develop Tyjae Spears, but right now he's fine. Tyler Boyd's not really going to have much value, but that's definitely somebody I would consider trading. And then defensively, I mean, this is a joke. They traded for Ernest Jones for nothing. All of a sudden, Ernest Jones wanted to trade for the Rams, and the Rams are like, we'll take anything, which was weird, because he's a really, really good player. He's a team captain with the Rams. He was one of their best defensive players, not named Aaron Donald, who, of course, is retired now. Ernest Jones is awesome. He's only 24 years old. This is a cornerstone piece of our team and defense, no question. And then I like Harold Landry. Harold Landry's a bit more of a tough question, though, because he's already 28 years old, which is kind of like that fall-off age in Madden. He's under contract for the next 3 seasons. I would say, depending on what happens to him in 2025, that'll, we'll make a decision on whether we want him for 2026 or not. But I'm not sure he's ever really going to be even an 85 overall. 83 overall might be lucky. Amani Hooker's in here. Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, I like quite a bit. Hookem. And then, of course, more Hookem Horns action with Tavondre Sweat. About 365, 370 pounds. who can actually push the pocket a little bit. He's shockingly quick for someone that's as massive as he is. He was the best lineman in college football last year, regardless of either side of the ball. Won the Outland Award. He was just a monster. It's a really fun team with potential, but we got to trim the fat a little bit, and that's going to be, you know, trading some aging vets, especially those with big contracts. And I mean, guys like Jamal Adams at 28 years old, when they're just not the same player that they once were. Yeah, he's playing on a super cheap deal, but why not get value while I still can and really try to jumpstart this rebuild? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do training camp, and then we're going to make some trades, which I haven't really done in rebuilds this year. You know, I feel like I've trended towards, you know, way more realistic, even with my unrealistic rebuilds. I still make crazy trades in the draft, but I haven't really made a ton of crazy trades. This might be an episode where we get a little bit wild and say, hey, we're playing Madden. Let's just try to make some crazy trades, get some big-time players that can, again, jumpstart this rebuild. So I'm going to be trying to trade some big players to get a great player, or top picks, usually. We'll see. We have made it to the regular season. We're going to, of course, use an auto-generated class. And Leonard Lynch from BYU. He looks like a BYU quarterback. Old as hell. How old are you? 22. All right, well, it's unfortunate for Leonard. I would say that with 4 first-round caliber quarterbacks, and really a lot of them out west, Boise State, Washington State, BYU, I would say we're in a pretty good position to potentially take a quarterback. So that's going to be a position we look at for sure. 4 in the top 7. But we could look, you know, some other directions as well. And depending on what happens with these trades coming up, you know, we very easily could have multiple first-round picks. That's certainly a possibility. So let's go ahead and start making some of these trades I talked so much about. We are going to be getting, you know, out with the old and in with the new. Hopkins is 32 years old. On the final year of his deal, up to a 90 overall after training camp. He's got to go. Got to go. Awuzie is under contract for the next 3 seasons. Calvin Ridley under contract for 4. Is he really on a 4-year deal with Tennessee? I mean, in a way he is. There's an out after year 2 with 10 mil in dead cap. And then it's only 5 mil in 2027. But, I mean, it might as well be a 3-year deal. There's 37.5 dead cap if he was to be cut after 2025. So it's at least a solid 2-year contract. I still would consider trading him, though. We'll see if we can get anything for DeAndre Hopkins. And there are some interesting offers in here. Definitely want to get younger. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is good, but his contract's expiring, so that's going to be an instant extension. So that would be instantly pretty expensive for us. That's something we got to keep in mind. Jalen Phillips might not be bad, though. Jalen Phillips could make a lot of sense. But we might even be able to get more. Rashawn Gary's here. That might be the leader in the clubhouse right now. Or, if we're going to get, you know, an older receiver out, we could bring in a younger receiver. Chris Olave is 24 years old, 86 overall. We'd be getting a 4th and a 6th next year. The Steelers are offering George Pickens, who's 1 overall point lower than Olave, but a year younger. And I really like George Pickens. I don't really think I've ever traded for Chris Olave in any video ever. I don't even know if I've ever had him on a team outside of a Saints rebuild. What else can we get from the Saints? They've been quite good this year. What would I be interested in? Chase Young, final year of his deal. Oftentimes I try to get him in free agency and he never decides to sign on. Chase Young could be a pretty great addition. Now, this is not going to be accepted, but there's definitely something here. Maybe if I were to add in Chidobe Awuzie, we might even be able to get a pick back from the Saints if that happened. Although they don't seem to be very interested in him, which is bizarre if corner is their number 1 need. Here's a good corner, and they're like, no. So our first trade is going to be DeAndre Hopkins and a 2026 4 for Chris Olave and a 2026 3 from the Saints. The Saints would never do this, you'd hope. But they did it. So we've got Chris Olave now. Should be fun for us. I like that. And I still want to trade Calvin Ridley. Awuzie doesn't necessarily need to be traded, but it's a possibility still. There's so many, like, whatever receivers I don't want on this team. Ridley, I just know is going to regress, so his value is just actively going down. Baron Browning's not terrible. Can I add Calvin Ridley with maybe Jamal Adams? I'd be like, wow, if this was a trade happening in 2020 or 2021, holy hell, what a deal. Getting 2 of these guys? Oh, what a trade. We could really tie it together with going after Odell Beckham Jr. Although probably we'll avoid that this time around. The next trade, sending a full team basically to the LA Rams. Jamal Adams, Kenneth Murray, Calvin Ridley, and a 5th for a first-round pick, currently projected to be number 19 overall. Hopefully the Rams are much worse than that. But we've got already a big-time upgrade at receiver in Chris Olave for the future. We add in a first-round pick now. Somebody else is Tennessee's 3rd. I don't know where that is. And 7th. And 4th next year, but we have 2 3rds. So you saw me do that with Olave. But the current 3rd, I don't know where it is. Somebody has it. Obviously, you'd expect a real-life trade as we'll also, unfortunately, trade Quandre Diggs. Look him. I mean, I'll look around. He's 31 years old on the final year of his deal. I'm not that much of a homer to where I'll just keep him because he went to Texas. He was a beast there, by the way. But I'm not that crazy. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Sebastian Joseph Day, maybe we can trade as well. Okay, this is a trade. Quandre Diggs, Tyler Boyd, and Sebastian Joseph Day, as well as a 3rd-round pick next year for a 1st-round pick next year from the Giants. Really, really good trade for us, provided the Giants are actually pretty bad. And I hope they will be in the game. They probably will be in real life as well, which, as a Giants fan, yeah, don't love that. But it is what it is, right? It's my reality. But I think we've pretty much made all the trades we're going to make. No one is really going to want, Traylon Burks or, Jack Gibbons, if I even wanted to trade him. Tony Pollard, again, is going to end up being like kind of a game-time decision. But getting Chris Olave, who's actually already playing up to an 87 overall, wow. What a game changer that's going to be. But maybe Will Levis takes a big step up, wins some type of award, gets star dev, and then all of a sudden, maybe we don't even need to draft a quarterback anymore. That's a possibility, I would suppose. But this is going to be the team. Again, we've, torn it down a little bit, so that hopefully in the future we can be better. We are 1-5. Did beat the Bills, though, last week, so we're on pace. If you just factor in that game, we're on pace to win out and go undefeated the rest of the regular season. So, and I guess postseason maybe as well, and forever by that logic. So that's pretty exciting. We do a D-line breakout as well. Who is this? Jeffrey Simmons, that's supposed to be? All right. Well, 5 tackles and 2 TFLs, and he's going to get a dev trade upgrade. Scouting national focus. The big position is... I made it defensive end, huh? Why did I do that? I don't know. Wide receiver would have made some sense. I must have had some motivation for not doing that. What that could have been, who's to say? Not 100% sure. Because wide receiver is still a position we could totally draft. Totally could draft wide receiver. Let's see here. I want to go into team salaries real quick. Look at expiring contracts. So Nick Folk. Ernest Jones we're going to extend, so I'm not really worried about that. Jack Gibbons maybe going to get extended. Radens could get an extension. Akina's going to walk. Brunskill can walk, probably. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot there. A lot of these guys are under contract. I think the Titans thought that, they were hitting their stride and their window was opening up. I don't know that it looks like that right now. We're projected to have the 1st and 6th overall picks, so the Rams are doing not so great, which is very good news for us. But I don't really think there's any more trades I'm going to be making at this point. Kind of like where we are with the team. Devondre Sweat, of course, had star dev. Not really a surprise there at all. We need to extend Ernest Jones. That's first and foremost at this point. Jack Gibbons maybe as well. Now, Jones does want to be here, which is very nice. And we definitely want to bring him in on a long-term contract. Ernest Jones returns. And then Jack Gibbons, I'm thinking more something in the range of 2 years. I like that. This is a fine contract. Could still totally draft a linebacker. This isn't terribly expensive. We should have enough cap room to still have a lot of wiggle room in free agency. I'm definitely, as always, going to target Chase Young in free agency. Get Keandre Coburn back. 2-year deal. Way too much money. I can't. Like, I'm only signing you because you went to Texas. I love Keandre Coburn at Texas, too. He's a really good player. But, yeah. Not going to happen. And then we just beat the Lions. Are we back? Is this the team of destiny? Very interesting. DL breakout part 2? Question mark. We also have a DB breakout as well. Does Jeffrey Simmons have another chance? All right, well, he'll have a chance to go up to Superstar X Factor again. He didn't do it the last time. Or he did just get 4,500 XP, which is not insignificant, I guess. That's like probably maybe a quarter up to the next upgrade for him, something like that. Jarvis Brownlee has a chance to go up in dev trait. Okay, that's not going to happen. Jarvis Brownlee did not go up in dev trait, got 2,500 XP. And now we have a halfback breakout. We're getting a breakout challenge about every week. We're up to 4 wins. Texans are struggling a little bit here. And, oh, it's for Tajay Spears. 3 touchdowns. No, I didn't mean to do that. I mean, that's just not, he's just not going to get 3 touchdowns. That's simply insane. Now, what I can do, because we are, trying to upgrade Tajay Spears to make him the running back of the future. Tajay Spears can't be the starting fullback. What is happening? I'm going to make him the starting running back. I'll make him the short yardage back as well. And third down running back. And maybe, just maybe, he gets 3 touchdowns and up to superstar dev. And Jeffrey Simmons did not do it again. In simulation, they're just never going to do it. Focus players, we have to at least look at QB. Although Kerry Sandler from Arizona State looks incredible. But quarterback, it's going to be really important to learn true talent on these guys, I think. And right now, all these QBs are only... Who in the hell are you? Rylan Richardson out of nowhere, up 160 spots to the number 7 spot. These quarterbacks don't look especially good, though. The top 3, at first glance, look like they could actually be legit. So we're going to check those guys out. And maybe even make them our focus players during the offseason as well. During focus scouting. So, week 13, it is time to simulate to the playoffs. We're 4-7. There's a non-zero chance that this is a playoff team, which I probably wouldn't even prefer, considering that we're trying to tear the team down. We didn't trade all that much, I guess, but, we're trying to get a top pick to really turn the franchise around. We finished 7-10, which is not exactly where you want to be. We beat the Texans, though. Texans are just not performing that well in simulation, I would say. Will Levis throws for 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, 18 picks. Not a great year. The running game, 8 TDs for Tajay Spears, but the running game was pretty bad overall. Receiving, Olave had 1,000 yards and 1 touchdown. Oh, my goodness. And then defensively, what a season for Ernest Jones. 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 18 TFLs, and 15 sacks for Jeffrey Simmons. What an insane year. 8 for Harold Landry, 7 for Devondre Sweat is wild. 14 tackles for loss. That could be a Defensive Rookie of the Year type showing. And then L'Jarius Sneed had 4 picks. Amani Hooker with 3. That's not a bad year, really, for the defense. The offense was pretty awful, but it's only up from here. Wow, the Ravens dominated the Packers in the Super Bowl. 38-10 is your final. We didn't have any Rookies of the Year or anything really anywhere. Patrick Mahomes wins MVP. Dallas Turner and Xavier Legette are your Rookies of the Year. Both NFC teams, though, so there's a chance we get something for AFC Rookie of the Year, which they hand out in Madden. So that's a possibility, I would suppose. So I'm not going to completely discount the possibility of that. It is a real thing. Could happen. And then now into the offseason, I don't think we need to re-sign anybody. I mean, we'll pick up the 5th-year option, I guess, on Chris Olave. We'll not be picking up the 5th-year option on Traylon Burks. Radens, I think we can do better than. Maybe we re-sign him. That's a possibility. Oh, wait, we definitely want Ryan Stonehouse. I don't like how the specialists are at the bottom. Like, Ryan Stonehouse is one of the best punters in the league. I mean, he had a record-breaking rookie year. We want to keep him around because right now we're doing a lot of punting. So he's extremely valuable to us. And I mean, Nick Folk is 40. We'll just get a better, younger kicker here. So let's go ahead and evaluate the team. 81 overall. Not too bad. It really isn't because the overalls are so juiced and so inflated. Tony Pollard is an 84, playing down. Okay. Let's think about how we want to do this. Right guard, right tackle on offense. Quarterback, obviously, going into the offseason. Wide receiver. And then defensively, edge for sure. Arden Key's down from star to normal. Devin is regressing. T'Vondre Sweat is up to superstar, Dev. Did he win Rookie of the Year? He did. Defensive Rookie of the Year there for the AFC. So T'Vondre Sweat up to superstar development, which should make it a lot easier on everybody else. Big-time nose tackle that can actually rush the passer a little bit. Will make things easier for Jeffrey Simmons. We could potentially consider moving to a 4-3 where Simmons can play D-tackle alongside T'Vondre Sweat. He gets up to Superstar X Factor just because he's good. I like that. That's always a good reason. Okay, so Tyron Smith is here. I don't really know that really aligns with our timeline, but he is good. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. Not really guys I'm looking at. Chase Young did not make it into free agency. The youngest player in here, I mean, 2 backs, Chuba Hubbard and Jalen Warren. I don't really want either of those guys. I think we're just saving our money. We're going to go after a kicker, and Jake Moody's here. I think that makes sense to me. Try to bring him in on a long-term deal. Just totally have kicker solidified. I know we need to upgrade at both spots on the right side of the O-line. I mean, Netani Muti makes sense. He's somewhat young. He's upgradable, I guess. And just really dating back to his career at Fresno State, his biggest issue has been staying on the field. Health has been a concern. But he could definitely end up being a good player for us. And then, I mean, I always get Jedrick Wills, but he wants to be here. He's an instant starter at right tackle. He's a big-time upgrade. I don't have to draft a right tackle. It seems like Jed Wills is going to be the guy. So I didn't really think we were going to go out and do that, but here we are. We need safety, but safety was actually a pretty strong position in the draft, it said, so that's a thing. Elijah Molden is available in free agency. Where was he last year? Chargers. We could bring him back, I guess, for, 1 or 2 years. It's not that expensive. Yeah, if he wants to come in, fine. We'll probably draft a safety anyway, but for right now, he's cool. Quandre Diggs has made it into free agency. It's just tough to attach your, you hitch your wagon to guys that are 30 plus. You're generally not going to be pretty happy. We do get Jed Wills, Jake Moody, and Netani Muti. Might get Elijah Molden as well. I'm not even sure why he didn't sign yet. So we got the 4 players we were actually trying to get. The team has been upgraded. Jedrick Wills is probably the biggest upgrade overall, just because right tackle was such a terrible position for us. And now we've gone out and we've upgraded it by plus 10 overall with a 26-year-old, no less. So Jed Wills, you're not going to be worse than what we've had. We're going to throw him at right tackle. And I think that's going to be it for free agency. I mean, you could say that the offensive line has been completely rebuilt up to this point. Receiver could be a need, and we've talked about what we need on defense. Edge, for sure. For sure. And potentially linebacker. I do like Cedric Gray. We could go 4-3 comfortably, and then a lot of our problems would be solved. So that's a possibility. It depends on what we see in the draft, I would say. I haven't really checked it out very much at all. I typically don't until the offseason. But, I think we're going to focus on defense. Even though our defense was pretty good last year, we're going to lean into that. Receivers on the table, though. Quarterbacks on the table. So, I don't know. I don't know yet. Don't keep asking me. Well, this definitely changes things. Leonard Lynch, Peter Farr, true top 5 talents in the class. We're up to the top 5 players. Most of them are QBs. And then there's Johnny Hendricks here, or Kendricks, that actually look pretty good. Usually these playmaker types don't just have straight Bs across the board. And he ran pretty well. Although that speed on the ratings area, that's going to be more important than any 40 time. He's just extremely well-rounded. I would bet he's a top 5 player in the class. So we don't really even need to look his way. AJ Lambert to safety we could consider. We know we need safety. Kerry Sandler's dropped here quite a bit, but is a top 5 talent in the class. Isaiah McFadden also looks pretty good. And because he's a deep threat, we can expect him to be pretty fast. I don't know which direction we're going to go here yet. Maybe there's a freak athlete somewhere. I mean, Anthony Richards looks quite solid, but I was hoping for, you know, upper echelon athleticism, and we're not really finding that right now. If we're drafting a defensive end, it's probably got to be Kerry Sandler. Yeah, he's the freak of the class for sure. Now, unfortunately, Kerry Sandler is projected to be the first pick. We are the Titans, so we're picking at number 9 and number 12. Still in line to get some really good players here, but we're going to have to trade up for one of these quarterbacks. And, I mean, we need edge so bad, and Kerry Sandler is just an amazing-looking player. We might want to get the top 2 picks in the draft, like, or maybe even 2 and 3, right? Or what? No, we need 1, because that's where Kerry Sandler is going to go. We need 2 of the first 3 picks, like we're the Houston Texans, with Will Anderson Jr. and C.J. Stroud. We could be poised to take a defensive end and a quarterback as well. Lambert's a first-round talent, which is great, but we're not trading up for a safety at this stage. Yeah, not going to happen. So this is the trade. We're trading a pretty significant amount, I would say. Arden Key, the number 9 pick, a first next year. How about another first next year? And then a 4th in 2027 for the number 1 overall pick. That is a lot. That is a lot. Now, we know we're going to take the defensive end here. It's just about, okay, which quarterback are we taking? Because I don't want to do anything else before we make that decision. Strong arm archetype for Leonard Lynch. Field general for Peter Farr. Same awareness. Farr has the advantage with short accuracy, medium accuracy, but Leonard Lynch with the deep accuracy. Same throw on the run. Lynch has better throw under pressure, better break sack, same play action. It is very close. And maybe Leonard Lynch is better as a runner overall. 22 years old. He's got elite throw power and decent mobility. Right now, I slightly lean Leonard Lynch. What about Peter Farr? Also 22. Also elite throw power. What do you do here? I mean, it's just going to be gambling and trying to get lucky with the dev trade. They could be identical, but they're the same age, right? They both have elite throw power. Peter Farr is better short. Leonard Lynch is better down the field. And Lynch is better under pressure. This is a really tough call. First pick, though, will be Kerry Sandler. A finesse moves, A power moves, A tackle. Only 21 years old, 6'5", 260. He physically is pretty amazing. Elite acceleration, elite change of direction, elite jumping, great strength, solid speed, great agility. A's across the board with the exception of block shedding, but he's a dominant pass rusher and is the newest Tennessee Titan. He is the number 1 player in the draft. We took him at number 1. Most pass rush wins come from finesse moves, routinely converts leverage into power when rushing the passer, and good awareness and reaction as a defender. He's got hidden dev, 84 speed, 92 acceleration, 82 strength. He is pretty incredible. and worthy of being that number 1 overall selection. And the Cardinals, will they take a QB? They do. The Cardinals go with Leonard Lynch. They have Kyler Murray, but I guess Leonard Lynch is the future. And then the Patriots go with A.J. Lambert at number 3, meaning that we will be trying to move up to the number 4 overall pick somehow with Seattle to try and land our quarterback of the future. Will Levis is gone. In fact, Will Levis probably will be involved in this trade. And the Seahawks actually can't quite afford that contract. That's insane. There's a Willis Patrick in the league. I used to love watching him play for the Niners. How close does this get us? Okay. Not close enough. I don't want to trade that 2nd round pick. We only have a 2nd round pick next year. How about a 3rd round pick in 2027? How's that sound? No. How about also a 3rd round pick in 2026? That is accepted. We are moving up for our quarterback. The reason that I might slightly lean towards Peter Farr is because he's a field general archetype who still has elite throw power. So I don't feel like he's going to be a bad option at all. It was really close between the quarterbacks, and it was easier to get Peter Farr. So that's kind of where we ended up going with this pick. Welcome to the Titans. He is the number 3 overall player. We picked him at number 4. The number 2 overall player might be that other quarterback, and they could be the same overall as well. Excels at mid-range throws, high-level processor, stays calm when throwing under pressure. He's a great player with hidden development, 94 throw power, 79 speed, 83 acceleration. The accuracy should be pretty good. You'd think with elite throw power it'd be slightly higher than 94. You figure maybe 95 plus might be that threshold. It apparently is not. And we will simulate to round number 2. Don't really have any ammunition to trade up at this point. We could potentially trade back or trade out of this pick altogether, depending on who makes it to this pick. So there are a number of players in that round 1 to 2 talent range. We do need an upgraded safety. There are some good ones here. Any true round 1 talents available? No. We might just stick and pick and draft a safety. I mean, that is certainly a possibility. We have the 21-year-old Tremaine Johnson, not to be confused with Trumaine Johnson, the corner. Yep, B zone, B tackle, B hit power, C man. Physically, he skipped the combine. He's a baller. Said, hey, Roger Goodell, up yours. Not doing your damn combine. Only decent speed, though. It's not great. I don't really love decent speed. What about Kenny Price? B hit power, B man, B tackle, C zone coverage. He's got great speed, great acceleration. I'm going to lean Kenny Price here. Just that higher level athleticism, I think, makes him the choice. That is our future starting free safety. Ranked number 37 in the class. We took him at 44. This is not a burner, but decent speed. But with great speed, he's going to be 90 speed, no question. Quick to digest and respond in zone coverage. Sure tackler. 91 speed, 92 acceleration. I think you got to go with more speed. That's the one thing you can't teach. Ryland Richardson got a huge boost. Plus 162. Projected to go top 5. He's sitting here in the 4th round. I'm not falling for it. He's a 5'10 quarterback, by the way. What? He looks really, really bad. I'm out. Tell you, Tyron Brinkley actually looks pretty awesome for a day 3 talent. Great speed, elite acceleration, ran in the low 4.2. Skills-wise, C man, C play rec, C tackle, C zone coverage, only D press, but is pretty well-rounded. We're going to take a shot on him. He's ranked number 104. We took him at 108. It says fast enough. He's got 93 speed, 95 acceleration. Only normal dev. Thought about trading out. Maybe I should have. But that is it's a decent draft. Draft recap. How'd we do? We got an 82 overall, but that might not even be the best pick. Hidden dev, of course. 82 overall speed rushers. Awesome. 88 finesse moves. Did he have A power moves and finesse moves, though? That's a pretty big difference. 88 versus 76. They were not kidding with he uses finesse moves more often in that scouting report to get to the quarterback. He looks incredible. What a selection. But the fact that we got a 79 overall quarterback in Peter Farr might be the pick of the draft. Also hidden dev. 91 short accuracy is amazing. 88 or 86 medium. Only 77 deep, but that's really not too bad. He has a million traits. Quarterbacks just might have a million traits. It's a possibility. But 81 awareness as a rookie feels pretty high. And then we got, let's see, a 74 overall free safety in Kenny Price. Hidden dev, as we know. 91 speed, 74 zone, 82 hit power. Man coverage is not bad. He looks pretty solid. I'm not really too mad about this draft class. We got, you know, two of the best players in the entire thing. That's always nice. And Leonard Lynch was slightly higher rated. At an 80 overall, Leonard Lynch does have hidden dev. His accuracy overall is much worse. But does have way better deep accuracy, but just way worse medium and short, or at least way worse short. Is he really that much better? He looks really good. He looks really good. I mean, there's no question. We drafted him. We would be absolutely ecstatic about that. But the accuracy is not amazing. Now, that can get upgraded over time. But will that short accuracy ever be that good? His dev trait is superstar. So if we get only star and we don't get it upgraded through winning like Rookie of the Year, I guess that would be a little bit disappointing. But of course, we end up with two of the top 3 rated players in the whole draft. That receiver was a top 5 player, as predicted. But Deshaun Jackson looks a little bit different. He's back here playing corner. Can still run a little bit. 78 overall corner in the second round is a pretty awesome pick. And I think, was that one pick? I think it was a few picks right after our second rounder. So we missed out on a really good DB there because we decided to go with a safety without even looking at the corners. I'm not mad about him, right? But we missed out on a better player. I mean, that's for sure. Still a great draft, though. We're about to find out if Peter Farr has at least... Well, maybe not. He's probably going to get up to an 80 overall, though. But we're going to find out if he's at least... If he goes up to an 80, superstar dev. He does go up to an 80. Show me an ability slot, please. No, he's going to have star dev. Disappointing. If he wins Rookie of the Year, though, it's guaranteed superstar. So we got to focus on that. We don't have the receivers right now. We're going to throw Olave in the slot. We're going to focus on Chigakonkwo. We're going to develop the tight end. Still could use someone that's not Ali Gay off the edge. Although he had a year at LSU where I'm like, there might be something, but I don't think there is. All right, probably time to put Tajay Spears in the RB1 slot. He and Tony Pollard are basically the same overall, and Pollard is significantly older, which means we're going to trade Tony Pollard. Might look to trade Awuzie to get that value up, because Roger McCreary has passed him in overall, or is trending towards that way. Okay, big time trade. Tony Pollard, Chidobe Awuzie, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick in 2028, and a fifth-round pick in 2026 for Rashawn Gary. Big-time upgrade to the defense. He's going to start at right outside linebacker. And then Jeffrey Simmons, who has been playing off the edge, is now going to go inside, where that makes a ton more sense. Or what we could do... Now, I think Rashawn Gary is going to be right outside linebacker. He could just play defensive end, but he's got 86 speed, and we're in a 3-4, so we're going to kick him out to play right outside linebacker. But it'll be a rush end. We're going to bring in some good backups. Antonio Gibson, Odell, all right. I mean, we talked about it already. Now he's in free agency. We'll bring in Odell Beckham Jr. We will bring in Rico Dowdle. So that's probably good on offense. And then defensively, after trading Awuzie, I mean, Desmond King probably to play the slot, right? And then, you know what? We might just bring in maybe Rock Yassin. Let's add him in. Ooh, 2-4 at the midseason mark. That's not great. Our offense is really bad. And our defense is somehow even worse. Not a huge fan of that, I would say. In free agency, we'll have to deal with Roger McCreary, Amani Hooker, Treylon Burks is up to an 80 overall at 25 years old. I actually think we're going to re-sign him. Treylon Burks is back. Roger McCreary, we absolutely want back. He's one of our better corners, only 25 years old. McCreary returns. Amani Hooker is a starter for us. I have $8 million a year is a little bit too expensive, and that's close to what it is on average. Yeah, he's good enough, I would say. We'll bring back Amani Hooker, and then definitely want Chigakonkwo back. Only 25 years old. About a 5-year deal. He'll be here. He'll probably get up into the mid-80s if I would have to bet. And we'll end up picking up the 5th-year option on Peter Skoronski. I do think roster-wise we're trending in the right direction. However, the results obviously are not on the field yet. So that's not great. We knew that Farr was going to have star. Unfortunate, but that's the reality. And then defensively, Sandler has X Factor. That is amazing. Okay. So, I mean, we're trending up. Our D-line should be amazing. We really should probably move to a 4-3. Maybe do that next season, because this defense is not working. But there's a lot of talent here. But Sweat, Simmons on the inside, Sandler and Gary on the outside. Harold Landry probably becomes the odd man out in that scenario. What do we need? What would we get for Harold Landry? Maybe a corner? Maybe a corner? Or actually, better yet, we probably want some type of pick back because we don't really have picks right now. Okay, Harold Landry, Elijah Molden, and Jack Gibbons headed to Green Bay. We're getting 2 second-round picks back. 1 this year, 1 next year. I think that's the right move. We're doing very badly right now, and we don't have much in the way of picks. Getting some picks back, making Cedric Gray a starter, I think that stuff is going to be pretty important. And then we don't really have to deal with Harold Landry not really having a true spot at this point. I don't know why it wants Jeffrey Simmons to be a rush end so badly. That's part of why it would just be easier to go to a 4-3 probably. Sandler and Gary off the end. Simmons and Sweat on the interior. That's what we really want. 4-7 going into week 13. I think we're better than that. We're just not showing it up to this point. This defensive tackle does look like he could be incredible. It's not really the biggest need for us right now. So, you know, I think we don't have a first-round pick, right? So, or no, we just got the Packers, 2 seconds. So we don't have a first-round pick. It's not great. We're gonna have to do, with what we actually have, and maybe somebody gets down the board. We know we need a corner at some point. We know receivers in need. A-man coverage at number 39, I like, with B-zone coverage. Corner probably at the top of the list right now. I'm not gonna rant about how much I think Will Williams is a crazy name. It's kind of redundant because his name is definitely William Williams, right? You don't need to pluralize your first name and have that be your last name. Just pick a different first name. Scored 49 points on the Colts in a shootout, though. It's funny to win by 3, or lose by 3, 17-14 to the Niners, and then come back and win by 6 points, 49-43 the next week against the Colts. Check out these numbers. We had a rookie quarterback as well, right? So there are growing pains, but maybe not actually. 4,600 yards, 41 touchdowns. Did launch 21 picks, though. This is full air raid like he's playing at Washington State under the great Mike Leach, RIP. What a year, though. Rushing, don't really do much of that because Tajay Spears is not a 90 overall. You really got to be a 90 overall to perform well in simulation as a running back, it seems. I don't get it, but that typically tends to be the case. And then receiving, Chris Olave with a great year. Okonkwo with a great year. Treylon Burks had 13 touchdowns. Odell turned back the clock to go for over 1,000 yards. And then defensively, the numbers maybe are a little bit less impressive than they were. 9.5 sacks for the rookie Kerry Sandler. That could be enough for Rookie of the Year. Cedric Gray ended up with 3 picks. We might have something there. We would finish 6-11, though. Number 12 in offensive points per game. Our defense was really bad. It's maybe the one thing we have to improve on the most. I think we just go 4-3. We've got the personnel that suggests that we're going to be better in a 4-3. Let's do it. Chiefs beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl 38-28. Brock Purdy wins MVP. Peter Farr, though, our quarterback, Offensive Rookie of the Year. So that should be guaranteed superstar development, making that now a pretty awesome pick. That's why, I don't typically care if our quarterback doesn't have a good dev trait. If the overall is high enough, they can play well enough, they can get that good dev trait. So Peter Farr now should be a superstar. And we should be rocking here. 11 players ready to negotiate. Pick up the 5th-year option on Skoronski. Probably will let everybody else test free agency. These are the type of players that will just be in free agency if we want to bring them back after the entire offseason. Odell's down to a 70. Yeah, probably out on that. We'll head into free agency. What do we need? Maybe a wide receiver, right? But I think we could probably draft one. And then defensively, corner, linebacker. Mark Andrews could be a decent option, Ooh, the Jags want Mark Andrews. I don't really want to give him a 4-year deal. I mean, we have a Okonkwo. He's not even close to as good, is the thing. Yeah, and Okonkwo is up to superstar dev now after an insane season. Does not make sense to bring in Mark Andrews. Okonkwo is great. Superstar dev now for Peter Farr. Another receiver, as I keep saying, would be good. But the offense looks pretty nice. Could bring another running back or two. And then we're going to move to a 4-3. There's great potential here. We'll say Rashawn Gary losing superstar dev, not my favorite. But, we got to deal with it. That's the price of having some players go up to superstar, or some players do not, unfortunately, retain that overall. And I wish, hey, I made Rashawn Gary a defensive end. Go put him at defensive end, please, when I reset the lineup. Just might not have an eligible outside linebacker, but how do I check what the scheme fit is then? If I actually went in position by position, I could see it, but we're going to make Cedric Gray a left outside linebacker. I don't believe he's going to be, I was going to say, I don't believe he's going to be a pass coverage archetype, but he is. He's got 81 zone coverage now. He's only been being upgraded as a pass coverage guy, which I didn't even remember that was a middle linebacker archetype. I thought that was only an outside linebacker archetype. So he's going to be a scheme fit at right outside linebacker. We know we need a left outside linebacker. That's where free agency is going to come into play. I forgot the Titans drafted James Williams. Played safety at Miami. There could have been something here. Maybe we start him at left outside linebacker for now. He's not going to keep that. We're going to get somebody better than him, you'd hope. But he's a good athlete with, some good cover skills. So there is something there. I'm not going to withdraw my offer on Mark Andrews because, if we get him, that's still a great player to add. Romeo Doubs, Jalen Watson, Micah McFadden. Dobbs, I don't really care about too much. I want Watson and McFadden. We did only get Micah McFadden. Now some other teams are in on Jalen Watson. We kind of just really need the cornerback depth. It doesn't have to be Jalen Watson. He was just wanting to be here, I thought. And now other teams are in the mix. But I would very happily settle for the New York Giant, Cordell Flott, who's even cheaper and younger. So if we got him, that'd be totally fine. I'm just looking for depth. I'm not, really super interested in anyone in particular. We do bring in Cordell Flott, and we'll head to the draft, needing to upgrade probably linebacker. The defensive tackle situation's incredible. Cornerback, linebacker, maybe not so much, and wide receiver. Those are the big things that stand out to me. Yeah, Grant Mills is definitely a really good corner. Where Will Williams just dropped. Why do they keep doing this with the #1 prospect? Even though he's still projected to go #1 overall, I would bet, considering what happened to the last player. But again, we're going to have to do most of our work outside of the first round here. We could consider trading. Ooh, okay, Stephen Freeman's pretty good. James Mills is pretty good. We could consider trading out of the second round entirely, seeing if we can get a first-round pick next year. David Boston looks really good, not to be confused with receiver David Boston, who maybe was taking steroids and enjoyed an unbelievable year or two in the early 2000s. Maybe even just the one, to be honest. Cole Lippett, by the way, is a 6'4" corner with maybe very good coverage. Where is he expected to go? Chargers with picks number 11 and 12. Number 14 to the Colts. What is your speed? It's only solid, but he ran really well. But again, that's not to be trusted. We can't trust it. Stephen Freeman at 24. James Mills at 25. If we want one of these top corners, we're going to have to trade into the first round, probably with the Bucks at 23. Yeah. Although with that being said, I didn't even check out the wide receivers. There could be some good receivers in this class. We'll take a look before we decide anything. I don't really love this screen, even though it's pretty good. There's just something about it. I don't know. It's a lot to take in all at once. Not really a strong receiver class. John Greenberry looks okay, but he can't run down the field at all. I don't know, dude. He stinks. We are trading up with the Steelers to number 25. It's going to be Tyron Brinkley, who we drafted a second this year and next year, a fourth in 2028, and a fifth in 2028. And we're hoping one of those corners is on the board at 25. It's, again, typically not the way you would do this. James Mills goes at 24. That's who I think I just traded up for. Oh, no, no, no. What happened? The mock draft, which is good, but it screwed me. And now I'm just picking up the pieces. I'm not going to settle for Darius Pierre. He looks solid. Not as good as what I wanted. Although, the Eagles will give me Quinyon Mitchell and picks for number 25 overall. Yes, please. That's a really bad trade for you. Even if you don't want to extend Quinyon Mitchell, maybe that's why you're trading him. That's not a good trade, probably. Now, I know the Eagles have gotten the better of the Titans in a couple of trades. They love trading. Although, it's like Kevin Byard didn't really work out, but A.J. Brown, I would say, did a lot. Still a very nice trade for us because we just got a better player than we would have drafted at that pick anyway. Quinyon Mitchell has 2 years left on his deal. He's an 85 overall, only 25 years old. Cornerback is now no longer an issue at all for us. So not only do I not regret trading up, I think I might even be thankful that James Mills got drafted ahead of me. David Boston's just sitting here with B finesse moves, A power moves. Where would he play on my team? He wouldn't be a starter, that's for sure, but he is a round one talent, which is tough to ignore. This quarterback actually looks like he might be pretty good. He's only 20 years old. We do not need a quarterback. Let that be known. However, a 20-year-old quarterback could possess some pretty decent trade value. I'm going to do it. We need a receiver. I didn't see the receivers in this class. We are drafting a quarterback in the second round. He's ranked number 33. We took him at 40. It's good value for that alone. Only normal dev hurts us with his trade value. But he's a fringe first-round talent that we got at 40. There you go. Draft recap. Larry Candidate is a 74 overall. That's pretty good, actually, for a rookie quarterback. Let's see what the talent in the draft was. Will Williams was an 81, ends up going at number 5 overall. Grant Mills, we saw, looked pretty good. 80 overall, goes at number 9. There's a fullback. Rare fullback sighting, 79 overall. All right, I mean, this was a pretty good draft class, all things considered. James Mills would have been a 77. Didn't have a chance to get him, unfortunately. David Boston was a 75. The thing is, though, is that there's Ed Norton. Nice. The thing is that we would have been disappointed about missing out on a 77 overall corner. We had an 85 overall corner who's just a little bit older. So we win. Mike Evans is in free agency. All right. Let's bring in Mike Evans. Why not? We have like infinite money right now. Zach Moss can be our backup running back. Good power element to add to Tajay Spears. We'll also bring in Sky Moore. DeAndre Hopkins is in free agency. Just don't really want him. Well, I'll tell you what. Having Peter Farr up to an 88 overall as a 23-year-old second-year player, that's pretty amazing. That's 99 pace, surely. Now, it's going to slow down a little bit, right? But, I mean, that should be someone that ends up getting into that 99 overall territory. Micah McFadden is going to play left outside linebacker. I mean, yeah, we don't really have a choice there, do we? I will say we do probably have too many random Giants. I mean, I would know firsthand, like, why are we getting players on a not good team who aren't particularly good? I don't know. That's a good question. But we need depth. Treylon Burks going to play in the slot. We have our pass rush. The team looks pretty good. Now, are they going to play well? Unlikely. Zach Moss and Kamara will be our specialists, though. We're not going to have one true running back, maybe. Running back by committee. Surely that doesn't work in simulation at all. That might be a mistake. 3 and 4 at the midseason mark. I suppose that's an upgrade. Our offense, though, is really, really bad. Why are we so bad? I gotta get Tajay Spears in that RB1 role. That's, I think, a big issue for us. We're just trying to get too many guys the football. Zach Moss maybe can say his power back. Third down, Spears for sure. But it's not great. If we got a superstar running back, I think the offense would absolutely take off. For right now, it's not taking off. It's not flying at all. Chris Olave needs an extension. He's really expensive. Really expensive, but hopefully will be worth it. Olave's back. I mean, it's getting as expensive as about $30 million a year. I am going to extend Tajay Spears. He doesn't want to commit. He's 25 years old. He's going to keep getting better in Madden, so I think we should just bring him back. Not a lot of free agents here, though. Just some randoms. Saw Quinyon Mitchell. That'll be a fifth-year option decision, right? So we will simulate to the playoffs, which we will not be a part of. Although I will stop, I suppose, at week 13 to do focus scouting. I mean, we are 7-5. I guess the playoffs aren't necessarily out of reach. Looking at the playoff picture, we're not currently slated to be in, but got some decent games left. Like a decent amount, I should say. So there's a realistic shot that we get in. And there are some sick receivers at the top of the board. We could potentially need those. Nick Nails. Good for Nick, man. Moses Cheeks. Now, first of all, Mo Cheeks. Like Maurice Cheeks, a basketball player. But also, Moses, who parted the Red Sea, could part. I guess it doesn't need to be said. But I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do in this draft class. I can't imagine trading up to number 1 to draft a receiver. And we actually would go 11-6. But we're playing in the wild card. What a turnaround. Is it just because of Tajay Spears? Because it was up and down to start the year. Not that bad, though. But we really turned things around in the second half. Lost to the Jaguars in Week 18 and Week 11. But other than the Jaguars, in this 3 or 4 game stretch, we were exceptional this year. Peter Farr put up very similar yards and touchdown numbers. Interceptions are way down. Way better. Tajay Spears is finally above that 4 yards per carry mark. It's because he's trending up towards a 90 overall. The numbers are still not crazy, but they're better. And then receiving, Treylon Burks with a sick year. Mike Evans actually outproduced Chris Olave, which is insane. Oh, Madden is something else, man. TFL's 20 apiece for Sandler and Simmons, who are nearly at both double-digit sacks. L'Jarius Sneed with 5 picks. He's had a really productive career here in Tennessee so far. 95 zone coverage is playing well. Wild card round of the playoffs. The Jets averaged 29 points a game. Got to be Breece Hall. It's got to be a big factor. We had the best defense in the league, though, in terms of allowing points. Under 19 a game. Can we beat the Jets in the Sean Green Bowl? Remember Sean Green? Looks like no, because we're not playing anyone in the divisional. So the Jets beat us 26-24. We will head to season number 4. But before that, of course, the offseason. Chiefs, Niners, Super Bowl. We've seen this one before. See if the Niners can finally come out on top. Let's see here in 2026. Any day now. So I'm talking like this because it's taking 20 minutes. Maybe not that long, but that was too long. The Niners do come out on top, 45-37. Brock Purdy with your Super Bowl MVP. But look at James Mills, the corner that we would have traded up to get. Hold on. There's a lot here. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Kadarius Toney with the Bengals is Offensive Player of the Year. I never do this, but now I absolutely have to check. How in the world does that happen? Joe Burrow threw 51 touchdowns. Do I need to go Bengals playbook? Kadarius Toney, 1,600 yards, 28 touchdowns on 91 catches. What? Jamar Chase was crazy. Is Bengals playbook the move? Didn't really have much of a running game. It really didn't seem to matter. I'm going to try out Bengals playbook. Okonkwo up to X Factor, by the way. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. We have better tight end combo than receivers, I would say. Yeah, like we have receiver, tight end, 2 receivers, 1 tight end versus like having 3 really good receivers where it would make sense maybe to go Cincinnati. But also they're producing so well. I'm going to try it out. We'll see what happens. Cedric Gray up to star dev. Simmons down from X Factor to just superstar now. We can't catch a break. So re-signing players, obviously we'll pick up the 5th-year option on Quinyon Mitchell. Need to extend Tajay Spears. And I wouldn't mind franchise tagging him if he declines this, but he should re-sign, and he does. It's a pretty affordable deal as well. 5th-year option on JC Latham, who's developing somewhat nicely up to an 84 overall. The rest, not super important. Why do we have Michael Turk? I surely extended our punter, Ryan Stonehouse. Yeah, he's still on the team, so I don't know why Michael Turk would even be here in the first place. We don't need to carry 2 punters. It's insane. Ooh. We could definitely upgrade our secondary here. Charvarius Ward, we maybe don't need that much. Brian Branch. If ever there was a time to really go big on a safety, it's Brian Branch. Now, he's such a talented nickel corner. Everyone wants Brian Branch. Well, 16 teams going after him. I'll overpay. I don't care. He's only 25 years old. Let's bring him in for the rest of his career. We have the money. Branch is a huge upgrade at the back end. Let's give him a massive contract. And we're not even apparently in the top of the group, but we are. Is he going to pick us? We'll see. Probably not. Willie Gay could be a decent choice here on a short-term deal. Get Willie Gay. Thought about Dion Henley, who's in here, but the age difference is not significant enough. Dion Henley was kind of an older rookie, as a lot of these COVID guys are, so probably just won't go after him. But if we can bring in Willie Gay and Brian Branch, that'll be a pretty successful period. Branch, it's a roll of the dice. I mean, it might not even be that good for us. It might be a 16-sided dice. But Willie Gay, I think we'll be able to get. But we got both. Big upgrade at safety, and a nice addition to at least our depth. He's going to be our highest rated outside linebacker, or at least left outside linebacker. Cedric Gray probably higher overall with star dev now. Receiver just didn't make sense to go after. But I would say that now we have great depth on our entire defense. Could use maybe some more defensive linemen. But we might make a big trade up to get a superstar type receiver if that's an option. Hollywood Brown wants to be here in 4 years. Pretty cheap. Let's just get some depth to fill out the team. Mozzie Smith is fine. Hasn't really been very good in real life. But on a 1-year deal, don't mind that. So we're also going to bring in Hollywood Brown, Mozzie Smith, Cleveland Ferrell, and Logan Hall. Just depth all over the place. Good teams have depth. We have money. I'll tell you what could be interesting. Not that I'm really considering running back, but Timmy Norwood is a top 5 talent with elite speed, agility, and acceleration. Only B juke move, so he might not be generational per se. A is typically generational when they look like this, so he's still going to be really good. But at the very top of the draft, we have a couple of receivers that could be game changers. Edward Middleton 21 years old, great speed, elite agility, elite acceleration, A medium route running, A short, B deep. He looks incredible. Edward Middleton is insane. Steve Keaton, 6'5", 224, also looks quite good at first glance. Is not quite the same level of athlete, but also looks incredible. Hard to go wrong with either. I think I lean Middleton. So we pick a number 24 overall. I want number 1. I will trade up to number 1 for a receiver. Especially in this new playbook. We got to do it. Also, tough scenes for the Browns to be back at number 1 overall after all these years. And we're going to have to trade a lot more if we want this pick. But I do. How about add in Larry Candidate? Great trade candidate. Like that. Not spelled the same way, but that counts. They want a quarterback. If he had a better depth trait, probably a little bit more value. I can't get it. I simply can't even get that close. We're going to have to trade for a higher pick. And then move up, and then it's probably a possibility. 15, maybe? I mean, they wanted Jamel Dean. We'll make it happen. Larry Candidate, a second this year, a 3 and 2 5s. Gets us number 15 from Tampa. So we get a little bit more into striking range for number 1. It wouldn't make sense to move up for this pick. But in this current situation, we're going into the final year. We're trying to have a little bit of fun. And it would be really fun to get a superstar X-Factor potential wide receiver. It is going to take maybe 4 first-round picks to move up for a receiver, but we're able to do it. This has got to be the last year now. Yeah, that would be a crazy trade. I feel like this is Mike Ditka trading for Ricky Williams. Hook him. What a great draft pick. Middleton, catching's pretty good. Catching traffic at a C I don't love. Release at a C I don't love. Everything else with him is amazing. And I will say amazing. It's either just like great or a B. So he's awesome. Edward Middleton. The first overall pick is a receiver for the first time since Keyshawn Johnson. 1996 maybe? Irving Fryer was the number 1 overall pick at receiver in, I would guess, 1983. I don't know that one to be a fact. But Irving Fryer, for sure, at some point for the Patriots, was a receiver at number 1 overall. He is the number 1 player in the draft. Doesn't say generational or anything, but if we get a low 80s receiver, I'm in. Draft recap. 82 overall. That's good. It's kind of what I was shooting for. Obviously, you hope generational, but he is really, really good. A lot of low 90s stuff already. 87 juke moves, really high for a receiver. 86 catching. Great route running. Very good athlete. Edward Middleton is sick. And then, who else is in this draft? 81 overall for the running back, Timmy Norwood. The drop-offs to Steve Keaton was crazy. He's only a 76. But this running back is pretty good. His juke move ends up being 86, 79 spin move, but great speed, great agility. He'd be a really fun player to use. So this will be the team for this season. Peter Farr up to a 93. Tajay Spears will be in the 90s. Middleton's going to be a freak. I don't care if he is X Factor or not. Obviously, it'd be cool if he does, but he's going to be amazing no matter what. He'll probably play in the slot for us, and I think in the Cincinnati playbook, if we learned anything from Kadarius Toney, he's going to be very, very, very productive in that role. Specialist-wise, it's not going to be Burks. No way. I don't know if I want a Money Hooker as a sub-linebacker, though. Would prefer the linebackers, I think. Mid-season mark, we are 5-2. Did lose to the Bengals, unfortunately. So maybe the playbook's not as good as I think. Our defense is bad again. What happened? We've only got better. Why is the defense so inconsistent? We are 5-2, but our defense is not playing great. Middleton does have superstar dev. He's a beast. Very nice to see. And then defensively, why are we not good? Such a good team. We missed the playoffs. We went 9-8. Missed the playoffs. Defense was one of the worst in the league. Okay, I can't end on that, so okay. Super Bowl was the Bird Bowl. Ravens, Eagles. Eagles get the upper hand. Edward Middleton does win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I can't believe that. Our defense was the best in the league last year at limiting points, and now we are suddenly one of the worst. Peter Farr is putting up awesome numbers. Tajay Spears, about the same as he was last year. Edward Middleton, though, 106 catches. Olave had 122 and 10 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards receiving, but over 1,400 for Edward Middleton by 1 yard. 21 touchdowns, up to Superstar X Factor now after winning Wide Receiver of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year. He is insane. He's 22 years old. He's playing up to a 97 overall. But he can't play defense. No one on our team can. These guys were super disappointing. Numbers don't look terrible, but like, well, how are we this bad? Some fifth-year options to pick up. Kerry Sandler has had X Factor, I believe. Bring back Devondre Sweat, of course. We have so much money. He wants to be here. That shouldn't be a problem. Devondre Sweat is back. I want L'Jarius Sneed back. This one could end up being a bit more of a problem, as he also wants a lot of money. I'm comfortable with a 2-year deal. L'Jarius Sneed's back. We obviously want Jeffrey Simmons back as well. He's actually down to Star Dev. Dude, all right, well, he's not interested in signing. It doesn't look like that's the case. Now I have to franchise tag him. Joe, geez. Cedric Ray will be back. And then it's going to be tough to bring back Skoronski. But hopefully he's able to come back. Gary's as good as gone. Yeah. Gary's as good as gone. Which, we got to clear up some money, I guess. Jeez. We really can't. Don't really have much in the way of draft picks. I'll let the computer handle it. This, I mean, how do we miss the playoffs, dude? I mean, our team is probably the best in the league overall-wise. We had the best offense, and our defense was just abysmal. Let's see what the draft looked like. Not great for us. There was an 80 overall, and that was the only one. It's a quarterback, though. Deion Killing is headed to Denver. The Bo Nix era is over here in 2027. X Factor's all over the place on offense. Where is my O-line? Well, that's going to be worse, I guess. And then defensively, it's a pretty big downgrade to Kamani McFadden. He doesn't look terrible, though. He's just not Rashawn Gary. I think this defense is going to end up playing better somehow. That's just how that goes. Amani Hooker down to normal dev. It's still insane. Like, this defense is still amazing. Devondre Sweat up to an 89. Sandler up to a 95. The linebackers are pretty good. The secondary is amazing. Don't be bad, please. We're 6-0. We are 6-0 at the midseason mark. I'm afraid to simulate to the playoffs. If we miss it again, the video is over. So, we're 6-0. Don't collapse in the second half, please. Well, we didn't go undefeated, but we did go 16-1. How does this team go 16-1? We must have just had locker room cancers. Who do we even lose to? Some of these are big-time wins. Some of them are by a point. Some of them are by 4 points in back-to-back weeks. We lost to the Bears by a field goal in the damn Kendall Wright Bowl. Remember him? Out of Baylor. Who else has played on the Bears and the Titans? Ooh. There's an end or an outside linebacker. It's not Roy Robertson Harris. He's an inside guy. He played on the Jags. I don't think he was a Titan. It is Trevis Gibson. Yes. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Division round of the playoffs. We will take on the Chargers, who we've already beaten this year. Let's see if we can take them out. 2 wins. And we're playing in the Super Bowl. Let's get it. Well, we go up 7-0, 14-0 early. We know the Chargers can't win in the playoffs. They blew like a 50-point lead to the Jaguars. Don't look that up. 21-10, 28-10. Chargers trying to get back in this game, but they just don't have the high-powered offense capable of doing it, even against our suspect defense, or at least it was last year. 45-31 is your final. I guess it's not suspect if you go 16-1. 6 passing touchdowns for Peter Farr. Herbert lit us up, but Peter Farr was just far better. Stats and awards, by the way. 49 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions for Peter Farr. Really great year through the air. Rushing, we're just pass focused, but Tyjae Spears was fine. Edward Middleton, 1,700 yards receiving and 99 catches, 23 touchdowns. He is the man. And just, yeah, put him in the slot. Put your best receiver in the slot. Watch him go to work. Kamani McFadden with not a terrible year. And we're getting a lot of interceptions. Cedric Gray is an interception machine, by the way. This guy's unbelievable. 93 zone coverage. Maybe that's why. I mean, he's getting like 4 or 5 picks a year playing linebacker. That's wild. He has been a dude for us. In the AFC Championship, we shall take on the Baltimore Ravens. No, it's the Jets. All right, Jets Titans. I think the Jets knocked us out earlier, so this is our chance for revenge. They're a 90 overall. Who's a Jet and Titan? Sean Green, I said. That was an interesting one to choose, but it is true. They're up early. Jets driving, but can't find the end zone. It's 14-0 Titans. And it seems like if you don't score a lot, you're not going to have a chance. It seems like we score pretty much every time we touch the football. Not every time, but pretty much. As it's 35-10 now. 35-17. It's just not going to be enough. If we're scoring 40 or 50 points a game, good luck beating us in the playoffs. 42-24 is your final inverted score lines. 4 touchdowns and 400 yards passing for Peter Farr. If he was not the best quarterback in the league going into this playoff run, how do you have any other opinion after it? We are playing in the Super Bowl, trying to bring a championship to Nashville. Titans, Panthers. Okay, that's quite a matchup. Take a look at the final team. The Panthers, to their credit, they simulate really well. They're an 86 overall. Middleton up to Superstar X Factor because obviously he's a 98 overall at 22 years old. He's pretty much 99 across the board for these attributes. Pretty much. And then at quarterback, Peter Farr is a 98 playing up to a 99. Another X Factor monster. He's got some great numbers. Throw power hasn't even gone up once, though. That used to get upgraded, not so much in Madden 25. And then defensively, Cedric Gray up to Superstar. Brian Branch up to Superstar. It's a great team. McFadden, it'd be nice to see him get star. He was good enough. He played well for us. But Panthers, Titans. I've surely had enough time to think of a Panther Titan player. That feels like a tough one, though. Panthers and Titans. Am I missing an obvious one? It's probably some quarterback. Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins is a Panther and Titan. That is my choice. There's a lot more. I was going to say maybe Cody Sensabaugh, which is a weird poll, but I don't think he was ever a Panther. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm sure I'm missing a lot. You guys will tell me in the comment section below. We're actually losing right now, and our offense is being held to just 3 points through the whole first half. It's 17-3. How about find the end zone? We're not doing it. Oh my, and we're backed up to our own one. Fourth quarter. Don't get safetied. That's not there. I mean, it was there because that's exactly where you want to go with the football against cover 3. Right up the seam. But I guess we just can't pass lead, is what we learned. Farr, 120. And an interception, no touchdowns. Obviously, we have just 3 points. Oh my goodness, we're going to lose the Super Bowl. And our quarterback didn't seem to come to play today. On the move! Unreal. Definitely an unfortunate way to end this rebuild. But we couldn't beat the Panthers. 24-10 is your final. I don't think it would have changed much if we didn't throw a pick on that final drive, which, to be fair, that was an incredible play from J.C. Horn. Bryce Young also had 1 touchdown to 2 picks. I don't know. We didn't convert on our opportunities. Ricky Pearsall's on the Panthers now. Picks for J.C. Horn and Charleston Felton and Ernest Jones and Cedric Gray, of course. Our linebackers taking advantage of Bryce Young. Probably couldn't see him over the offensive line. That makes sense. That is the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Could not bring a Super Bowl to Tennessee, but we got pretty close. And Titans fans, older ones, you know exactly how that feels. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.